eventually incorporate. But I don't want to make it like typical like pirate or seafaring story. I want to make it some kind of different in a way. I don't know how. I haven't gotten that far. I have gotten story-wise and idea-wise. I have gotten 4 books in. Mm-hmm. It's like 3 on top of this one. But that hasn't incorporated the sea yet, mm-hmm. which in there is called the unmanned sea. And I called it that because it just makes sense. I mean, because I haven't incorporated yet, so nobody has really ventured far out into it, so it's unmanned. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess just 1.
But that's cool because then that gives you, obviously, the possibilities are endless. As far as once you create a world like that, now you as the author have the ability to play within that world and kind of go like...
It could easily branch out into a different area and just introduce... I mean, I already know there already are other places that I will be introducing that are not in that same map. Yeah.
And from that time frame, it sounds like the way you would get there would be via the unmanned sea. That's pretty dope. I've always wondered how authors come up with their names, because one name very much sticks out to me.
What do you mean?
I can't do her name right. Polyra. And just
think like stretch out Polyra, like kind of stretch out
Polyra. That name sticks out to me just because I know you personally, and I happen to know about someone in your life that has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
That is a female that has a very similar name to Polyra.
So that was obvious. That is a huge influence.
It seems like a very obvious parallel.
Yeah. So there's a lot of names in the book that are directly influenced by people or places or things that I know.
That are in your life.
Yeah, that are real life. Like in the poem that I just read, the Soul Reaper poem, talks about, that line says, "An hour passed from when I left Primrose." Like that's a street that my brother lives on. Primrose Street. And I was like, dude, that's a fucking cool sounding name. Primrose,
yeah.
So that's a city in the book, in the map. Polyra, influenced by that. Name is Pauline. But like I always wanna, I don't wanna just rip it,
No.
I wanna put some kind of twist on it in some way or another, where not just to be like, oh, it's not this person, it's not this place, not just to avoid that, but like not to do that at all. It's to just make it sound fitting to the world. So like, if I make the main character named Pauline, it's like, okay, like that sounds like a very modern name.
No, I like what you do with it because it does. Like, only knowing you and knowing a little about your personal life allows me to make that parallel, and no one else is ever going to put that together if they don't know you.
Yeah, exactly. People, random people that read it will have no idea.
No,
I already have a couple very close friends of mine that picked out some of the stuff that already. They texted me and they're like there's in the map there's a village called Tournai, and that's. My friend texted me. He's like, "Hey, is this so and so?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Would you say that you have a parallel character in the book with a lot of close members of your family, like your brother, your mom, your dad?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, brother, yes, is a city. No direct name references of parents, but family name reference, last name. Mm-hmm. So that's in there.
Is that like the king and queen?
No.
No? Okay.
So king name, which you learn in the first chapter, King Tarkin, which I had no fucking idea until relatively recently was a major character name in the Star Wars universe. I had no idea.
Oh, no.
And I found out, like, I think it was when The Last Jedi came out last December, right? I think.
Yeah.
This past December.
Do you know
Usually it's every December.
Yeah, because I don't know anybody
So,
in Star Wars that's Tarkin, but
It's some kind of commander guy or some high-ranking officer.
Commander Tarkin.
General or something. Yeah, General Tarkin. I don't know. So, I had no idea. And a very close friend of mine is a huge fan of like fantasy and sci-fi and all that. And he's like, "Hey, is that like based off of this guy in Star Wars?" I was like, "Funny that you say that." I was like, "I had no idea until December of 2017 when Last Jedi came out."
Bastards decided they would have just left it the way it was. We wouldn't have this fucking problem.
And the funny thing is, because probably right before that, because I was finalizing the manuscript for it, and I was like skimming over, going through, looking at it, making sure this is right, this makes sense, and I was, for like a little bit, I was hung on that name, King Tarkin. I was like, Tarkin. I was like, is that okay? Like, should I make that Tarken? Should I make it something else? I don't know. And then I was like, no, fuck it. I'm just gonna leave it.
It's just because who gives a fuck whether Star Wars had it or not? But yeah, I was just always love just to. I'm like an inside baseball kind of guy where I love hearing or reading. I'm not a big reader, so I can't see reading. My parallels with music, so hearing an album and then getting to know the artist itself and being like, oh, that song was probably about the like one of my favorite concept albums is by a band called Oceana. Not Oceano. Have you heard of Oceano? No. Oceano is like a really hard heavy metal band, and Oceana is not. And they did a whole album that one of my favorite albums I learned later is all about this lead singer going to his girlfriend who got I think she got an abortion, and the whole once I learned that, the album just like jumped out at me like, oh my god, that's where this makes so much sense, and why he's grieving so much in this beginning stage, and why he's like talking to it just everything connected with me. So I love reading or getting a story and then getting to know where that originated from to kind of like draw parallel lines and go like, oh, this is where he was influenced to then come up with this, and like that your brother became a city, the brother street is actually a really cool name, so that became, and it just makes the story that much better. Like exactly. And I love that kind of stuff. I like having history behind something, not necessarily history in that world of the story, but outside history that influences. I love that shit. So the title, Halorum, Halo, holy, the halo over the head, righteous and divine, and Halo, and that I was like, okay, well, I can't just fucking call it Halo. Like, that's pretty gay. So you're like writing down in a book like Halo, nah. What about red versus blue? No, that's not gonna work either.
So but it I wanted to make it sound like a kingdom. Yeah. So I just went through add a couple letters here and there, this and that. So okay, Halorum. That sounds like a fucking kingdom. Okay, cool. And then characters. Like, okay, King Tarkin. I still don't know how I came up with King Tarkin. I have no idea, but that's his name. Polyra, influence of someone I know, absolutely, someone very close to me. There's another character which you haven't met yet, where you are.
Right.
Which comes in a little bit later, very shortly. But they reference to him in the first chapter. It's called the Dragon Knight. They say that, have you heard the tale of the Dragon Knight? It's when Paul Lyra totally fucks up that.
Yeah, which I was gonna say, that was my first kill was dope. I loved reading that of the head cut off, just right off the bat.
Yeah,
just the way that you painted that scene of. It's a very, like, my mind pictures a very, obviously, a holy room because he's in the prayer room.
Right.
So it pictures a very reverent scene.
Yep.
Almost like a Kill Bill-esque where you take something the scene is very reverent, but the brutality is like my mind goes to Kill Bill where they fight in the Japanese garden and it's white. It's very pure and there's blood everywhere. Like that's... That one name that sticks out to me is Arkin the Second. I like that you threw the second. Is there? Maybe have I gotten that far? Is there an Arkin?
It gets referenced to. So
there's got to be the first.
There is a first, yeah. So Arkin is the father of. It sounds stupid. Arkin is the father of Tarkin.
Okay, that makes sense. So Arkin is the father of King Tarkin.
Yeah. So Arkin,
which makes sense because it sounds silly to us, but it really does make sense if you put your mind in like in this world, which is kind of medieval. That was very common. There's there's Tarkin, Arkin, Larkin, Barkin, Sarkin. Tarkin. There's all these okay, we want to tie in with the great grandfather, so we'll just name you Barkin.
Yep. And like in Lord of the Rings or in Hobbit, Thorin Oakenshield, he's the main character in the Hobbit. Or the main. He's like the king beneath the mountain. He's the one going back to the mountains to reclaim his throne.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, him.
Okay.
It's like Thorin, son of Orin, son of Gorin, son of Doran, son of Borin.
yeah. See, so it totally fits that whole
Gawain,
thing.
son of Dwayne, son of Blaine, son of
where people in the middle medieval days were just very lazy. Okay, what can we do different? Let's throw an S in front of that. And Sarkin. Yeah, that's what we'll call you.
So Arkin the Second. So he's named after obviously the grandfather Arkin, which is the father of Tarkin, which is. So that's okay. One ran out of name ideas. Two.
I like how honest you are. You're just fucking just ran ideas. So Arkin.
Because I wanted to name some people after important people that I know. So there's so King Tarkin. Okay, I don't know how important that is. Anyways, his wife / queen is Queen Farai. That's named after very close cousin of mine who's a best friend to me. That's still in Turkey. I think she's still there. Anyways, super cool. We're super close. We're best friends. So that's named after her. And then...
What's her name?
Farai.
Okay. That makes sense. Just that makes sense.
Spelled differently. So in the book, it's Feraii. In real life, it's Feray.
It's a really nice name. So, it makes sense.
Awesome.
Why mess with a good thing?
It's a cool name. And then so those are the parents, king and queen. Then you have the oldest son, Beric, who is named after a very close friend of mine who I've known for 20 some odd years.
His name Eric?
No, it's
Beric Eric.
It's so there's no theme to this.
Okay,
so it's just random.
There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
I got a friend named Dave. Let's name this character
Ave. So Beric is named after Barack
Obama.
And then the middle child is Anais. So that is named